COVID pandemic, everyone was isolated. And I think after that happened, a lot of people spoke out about their mental health struggles, but also during my freshman year, my first semester, I got a concussion and I felt like the same way, the isolation just again. And I kind of bottled up all that emotion and I didn't really talk about it, and I think that's what impacted the way that I felt even after I wasn't diagnosed with a concussion anymore. And I also didn't want to like cross people's boundaries, but also know that the certain resources I can tell people whenever they are going through certain mental health struggles as well.
It's something that was interesting and important to me because coming from a sport in high school and club swimming, like that wasn't really talked about or something that was deemed as important. So I really liked that it was not put on the back burner here.
I would just say my personal experience dealing with these things, it's really important to me that you know, not only am I taking care of myself, but that I'm involved in a community where mental health is important and it matters. You know, whenever I heard about the Mental Health Ambassadors Program and what they're trying to accomplish with Dr. Jones and everybody, it was definitely something I wanted to be a part of. I think it's a really great idea and a necessity for our university at this point. Now it's starting to get more, you know, coverage and people are more aware of it, but even when I was coming out of high school, this wasn't talked about as much. And so I would say, you know, the first couple months I was still trying to do it the old school way where, you know, you put your head down and you just go and that's how you do it. But as you get older and you've been in college longer, you realize that that's ultimately just going to be detrimental to not only your performance as an athlete, but your performance as a student and your overall well-being. It's getting easier and easier to make that jump and to realize that, you know, it is like a full-time job, but that's what we signed up for, and it's definitely doable to do it as good as you can and also take care of yourself in the proper way.
Just about every single coach here cares in some way about mental health. Same with the professors. So going from high school and club where teachers and coaches were like, this is what you just have to do and you just have to deal with it, versus it's okay if you need to take a second to make sure that you can put your best foot forward and put your best work forward. When you look at professional athletes, you see a lot of them struggling in some way, shape, or form with their sport. And that's because it's basically been their whole life. So when they get to the pro level, it is entirely their life. So I think that having a basis at the university level in the NCAA can give a good kind of base for any athlete if they choose to go further in their career.
I mean, we can definitely see the difference in the past couple of years of you know, how much of an emphasis that the NCAA is putting on it, and you know, we're really seeing the differences in the day-to-day of, you know, coming in and having resources that, you know, if something's not right, we can go talk to somebody. There's plenty of options and paths that we can take if we need help or just need whatever, you know. It's just for a long time, you know, student athletes didn't, and they had to, you know, face these things alone. So, you know, we couldn't be happier to have all the options and the resources that we have now due to the recent emphasis that's being put on mental health.
For the past years, decades, whatever, like people have kind of formed this stigma towards mental health that like talking about it is a weakness, or even experiencing any struggles is a weakness, and it makes you not a good athlete, not good academically. And I think the more that we talk about it, the more that the NCAA acknowledges it too, it can reduce the stigma and it can help everyone.
Have similar attitudes in terms of mental health, in terms of being a good teammate, in terms of putting their best foot forward in the pool. So I think that the culture on my team is something that my coach kind of built, and we all just kind of respect that and want to continue that.
I think that in developing, you know, mental fortitude or whatever you want to call it, and focusing on your mental health. I think by doing that, you don't have to lose competitiveness. You don't have to lose, that toughness that people think of, or that they're trying to talk about. In past years, I think where people have gone wrong with that is, you need to suppress what you're feeling or ignore it, because that's not tough. You need to just put your head down and keep going. But I think, by developing a positive mental health and, emotional intelligence and all that stuff, by cultivating that only can make you a better competitor. It's only going to make you a better athlete, a better student, whatever, because you're going to be more prepared to deal with the adversity that you see come practice, game time, anything.
We've talked about how we react physically whenever we are being overwhelmed, or whenever we feel burnt out, or when we're kind of in a rut when we're playing. And then we also talked about how we want to be supported in that situation, because sometimes people just want time to themselves, and other times people want to at least be acknowledged that they are being seen. Kind of acknowledging as well that we are committed to supporting each other no matter how bad the days get, and that you also aren't alone. And I think that's kind of formed the mental toughness aspect, like towards having the positive self-talk, but also just acknowledging that you are going to experience bad days and it is okay and you're not alone. Kind of talking about it and reaching out as much as you can, and again, it is easier said than done, but I think everyone has experienced these mental health struggles, but everyone has also seen other people that have experienced them, and once you see other people experience it, you know that the way that you impact others and the way that you reach out to others definitely can be a positive impact on whether or not that could be like the worst thing that happens in that person's day, and whether or not they can get out of it.
If you have a bad swim and you let that take over your mindset, it's going to be like a snowball. So if you have a bad swim, you have to just be like, all right, that wasn't my swim. I have another one coming up. I just have to put my mind in the right place to do better in the next swim.
Well, the first thing I would say is that that's normal, and that happens to everybody. Every athlete is going to go through a slump, go through a couple bad games, whatever it may be. Nobody's perfect, and we're always going to, make mistakes and have bad games. That's the first thing that we all, as athletes, have to understand and have to take that pressure of being perfect all the time off. And then once you acknowledge that, then you can, take the steps going forward of what do I need to do to, not necessarily get back to how I was, but just, maintain that balance of taking care of myself, but also feeling like I'm at my best when I'm performing. Just know that it's okay to have games and weeks where you feel a little bit off, and that you're not alone in that, and that there's plenty of not only other athletes that go through that and understand what you're going through, but there's plenty of faculty and staff that are here, and they also get it. They've also been through it, and that they're here to help you, and nobody should have to go through that stuff alone, and there's always somebody you can go to. It can translate to many different areas of your life. The lessons that I've learned in basketball, outside of mental health and emotional response and all that stuff, it all translates over to your life, and but those are two really big ones. And if you can manage to develop that resilience and keep your mental health a priority, if you can manage to do that at the Division I level in sports, then you can do it anywhere. You can translate it to your job, your school, whatever it may be. And like I said, it's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be about growing and developing.
100%. I think that, I think a lot of it has to do with my background in psychology and being with the Mental Health Ambassadors program. But I think, regardless of if you're an athlete or not, mental health is an important topic. So I think that every I don't know, in my personal experience, everything that I do is put towards, is this gonna help someone else? Is this gonna help me and my own mental, emotional well-being?
Yes, greatly. I think as I've dived into the resources that we've had here, I've been able to also form a positive relationship with myself and my feelings, and knowing kind of the gauge on whether or not I should kind of bottle up my feelings even more and reach out to the people that I know that I have the resources for.